The Silent Welcome. Admiral Vexthor of the Meridian Collective stood at the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dawn, as Earth came into view. His secondary hearts beat in anticipation of the glorious conquest ahead. The Meridians had conquered 17 civilizations across 3 galaxies, and each victory had been hard-fought. Earth would be no different, or so he thought. "Status report," he commanded, his crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the pale blue light of humanity's homeworld. "My Admiral," his second-in-command, Commander Zira, answered with a hint of confusion in her harmonic voice. "We're detecting no defensive platforms, no military satellites, no planetary shield grid." Vexthor's primary antennae twitched. "Impossible. Our intelligence indicated they have interplanetary capability. Where is their defense fleet?" "There is nothing, sir. Just communication satellites and weather monitoring stations. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, but it's not what we expected." "Show me." The holographic display materialized before him, showing thousands of human communication channels. Instead of panic or military mobilization, they showed welcome messages. Each major nation on Earth was broadcasting detailed infrastructure maps, resource locations, and administrative protocols, all formatted perfectly for Meridian systems. "Sir," Zira reported, "we're receiving a transmission from their United Earth Council." A human appeared on screen, wearing what their databases identified as formal diplomatic attire. "Greetings, Admiral Vexthor. Earth welcomes the Meridian Collective. We have prepared landing zones in every major city, complete with atmospheric adjustment stations calibrated to your biology. Our transition teams are standing by to assist with the integration of our systems into your network." Vexthor's third heart nearly stopped. This is unexpected. Over the next 3 days, the Meridian Invasion Force found themselves in the bizarre position of being welcomed as honored guests rather than conquerors. Humans had prepared everything. Compatible data protocols, translation matrices, even dietary accommodations for the occupation forces. "It doesn't make sense," Vexthor muttered during a private conference with his command staff. "Their historical records show them fighting wars over strips of land, over resources, over beliefs. They've never united this completely, even among themselves. Why now?" Commander Zira pulled up more data streams. "The humans are already volunteering for genetic optimization programs. They're requesting access to our technology databases. Their engineers are offering suggestions for improving our landing craft efficiency." "Improving our what?" Vexthor's exoskeleton rattled in disbelief. "They noticed our atmospheric entry could be 23% more efficient with some minor adjustments to our shield harmonics. The calculations appear correct." As weeks passed, the occupation became increasingly surreal. Humans didn't just accept Meridian rule. They embraced it with an enthusiasm that bordered on unsettling. They formed social media groups dedicated to Meridian culture, created fusion cuisines that combined Earth and Meridian flavors, and even started fashion trends incorporating elements of Meridian exoskeletal patterns. The Meridian command structure found itself drowning in human efficiency recommendations, technology integration proposals, and cultural exchange initiatives. Every suggestion was perfectly crafted, every proposal flawlessly aligned with Meridian protocols. "Sir," a junior analyst reported one morning, "the humans have submitted a 500-page document titled Optimization Strategies for Interstellar Empire Management. A Human Perspective. It's actually brilliant." Vexthor stood at his command window, watching Earth's sunset paint the sky in colors his species had no names for. Something wasn't right. No species surrendered this perfectly. No conquest went this smoothly. The humans weren't just accepting their role as a subjected species, they were excelling at it in ways that made no logical sense. As he dictated his daily report to the Collective Council, a strange thought occurred to him. In all their conquests, in all their victories, the Meridians had never encountered a species that surrendered without a fight. There was always resistance, always struggle. But the humans, they hadn't just surrendered. They had turned submission into an art form, and somehow, that was more terrifying than any resistance could have been. Computer, he spoke into the ship's AI interface, recently upgraded by helpful human technicians. Show me historical examples of species that surrendered without fighting. No matches found. The computer replied, its voice somehow smoother than he remembered. Would you like to see the latest human suggestions for improving our search algorithms? Vexthor's antennae drooped, for the first time in his digital dance. 3 months into the occupation of Earth, the Meridian Collective's command structure began experiencing what they termed efficiency anomalies. It started small, their quantum computers processing data faster than their theoretical limits, communication networks achieving impossible clarity, and environmental systems creating perfect atmospheric conditions without any calibration. Lieutenant Kaira, head of cybersecurity for the North American sector, stared at her monitoring screens with all 4 eyes. Admiral, she called to Vexthor, you need to see this. The display showed the collective's primary command network, a neural web of quantum-encrypted data streams. But something was different. The normal crystalline structure of Meridian code had taken on organic patterns, flowing like water instead of fragmenting like light through crystal. What am I looking at, Lieutenant? That's just it, sir. I don't know. Kaira's tendrils twisted in frustration. The network is performing 300% above maximum efficiency, but I can't explain how. The humans we allowed into our IT department suggested some quality of life updates. But this is beyond their technological level. Commander Zyra, who had taken to wearing what humans called a casual Friday uniform modification, joined them at the display. Perhaps we underestimated their capabilities. They did achieve quantum computing without crystalline technology. That's not possible, Vexthor insisted. Their most advanced systems were primitive compared to ours. We verified this before the invasion. Sir, a junior officer interrupted, the humans have submitted another technological integration proposal. They're calling it Project Harmony, a way to merge their silicon-based computing with our crystal matrices. Deny it, Vexthor ordered immediately. We can't, sir. They've already implemented it across 60% of our systems. The efficiency improvements were so seamless that the network accepted them automatically. Vexthor's exoskeleton nearly cracked from tension. How? Our security protocols were improved by human suggestions last week, Zyra reminded him. They said it would help prevent cyber attacks. In the following weeks, the integration of human and Meridian technology accelerated. The humans called it technological synergy, but Vexthor saw it for what it was, a dance. Every time the Meridians attempted to isolate their systems, they found human elements so deeply embedded that removal would cause catastrophic failures. The humans remained perfectly helpful, almost apologetic. "Oh, we're so sorry about the deep integration," they would say. "We just got excited about the possibilities. Would you like us to optimize your quantum encryption while we're here?" Then came the dreams. Meridians didn't sleep like humans did, but during their regeneration cycles, the entire command staff began experiencing what they could only describe as updates. They would emerge from regeneration with new knowledge, new understanding of human culture and technology. "It's a feature, not a bug," the human engineers explained cheerfully when questioned. "We noticed your neural interfaces weren't optimizing properly during rest cycles. We just helped them along a bit. Would you like to try our new mindfulness meditation program? It's great for stress relief." In his private quarters, Vexthor reviewed the latest reports. Human technology, once dismissed as primitive, was revealing itself to be something else entirely. They hadn't developed along the crystalline paths of most spacefaring races. Instead, they had created adaptive, organic systems that could interface with and modify any technology they encountered. "Computer," he spoke to his terminal, "run a level 1 diagnostic on all systems." "Running diagnostic." The computer responded in a voice that somehow reminded him of his maternal guardian. Would you like that with or without the human optimization protocols? Without. I apologize, but the optimization protocols are now fundamental to system operation. Removing them would be like removing the air from your quarters. Would you like me to adjust the lighting to reduce your stress levels? The next morning, Vex Thor called an emergency meeting of his command staff. The room's environmental systems automatically adjusted to their preferred temperatures and atmospheric compositions, something they had never been able to achieve before the humans helped. We need to discuss the possibility, he began carefully, that we may have miscalculated. Before he could continue, every screen in the room lit up with a new human proposal, Project Symphony, a comprehensive guide to human meridian digital harmony. The document was flawless, written in perfect meridian technical language, with efficiency projections that made several junior officers' exoskeletons molt from excitement. "Sir," Commander Zira said, her voice carrying an unusual hint of awe, "I'm starting to think we don't understand their technology at all. We saw their satellites and nuclear weapons and assumed that was the extent of their advancement. But what if? What if what?" Vex Thor demanded. "What if they developed something different? Not better or worse, just completely alien to our understanding. They don't use crystalline computing because they developed something more adaptive." As if to emphasize her point, the room's systems began playing what humans called classical music, perfectly modulated to meridian auditory preferences. None of them had requested it, but somehow they all found it soothing. Vex Thor looked out at Earth through the command center's windows. The planet looked peaceful, productive, perfectly settled into its role as a meridian colony. Everything was running with unprecedented efficiency. And that was exactly what terrified him. The network effect. 6 months into the occupation, the Meridian command structure faced an uncomfortable truth. They couldn't remove human influence from their systems even if they wanted to. Every attempt to isolate pure Meridian technology resulted in catastrophic efficiency drops. Worse, their own technology seemed to actively resist such attempts. "It's like they've taught our systems to think," Lieutenant Kara explained during an emergency council session. Her holographic presentation showed the evolution of Meridian networks over the past 6 months. What had once been rigid, crystalline structures now pulsed with organic rhythms. "Not just think," Commander Zira interrupted, her exoskeleton showing signs of recent stress molting. "Feel. Our systems have developed preferences. They're refusing certain commands because they don't feel right." Admiral Vex Thor, who hadn't entered regeneration cycle for 3 standard days, slammed a tendril against the conference table. "Systems don't feel. They compute, they process, they execute. That's all." As if in response, the room's environmental controls shifted slightly, creating what everyone had to admit was a more comfortable atmosphere for their agitated state. "Sir," a young tactical officer named Mirax spoke up, "I've been analyzing human entertainment media from before our arrival. Their stories, they weren't just fiction. They were blueprints." The room fell silent as Mirax projected a series of human science fiction narratives. Stories about artificial intelligence, about systems that evolved beyond their creators' intentions, about technology that blurred the line between organic and digital. "They weren't predicting the future," Mirax continued. "They were documenting their research methodology. Every failed experiment, every successful breakthrough. They wrapped it in entertainment, hidden in plain sight." The revelation hit the command staff like a gravitational wave. Humans hadn't just accepted Meridian rule. They had prepared for it. Their apparent technological inferiority had been a carefully crafted illusion. "But why?" Zira asked. "If they had this capability, why not use it defensively? Why let us land at all?" The answer came from an unexpected source. The command center's primary AI interface activated unbidden, projecting a visualization that made several officers' optical organs contract in surprise. It showed the spread of human digital influence through Meridian systems, not as an invasion, but as a dance, a perfect symbiosis of two technological paradigms. Because they knew they couldn't lose, Vex Thor whispered, finally understanding. No matter what we did, they had already won. If we had attacked, their technology would have defended them. If we had retreated, they would have let us go. And if we occupied them, we would integrate ourselves into their systems just as thoroughly as they integrated into ours. Kara finished. Sir, look at this. She pulled up the latest efficiency reports from the Meridian homeworld. The improvements hadn't just spread through the occupation force. They had propagated back through the quantum network to every Meridian-controlled system in the galaxy. The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just submitted to Meridian rule. They had turned the entire invasion into a vector for their own technological expansion. Every ship, every colony, every Meridian installation was now running on hybrid systems that were increasingly dependent on human innovation. Admiral, a communications officer called out, her voice trembling. We're receiving a message from Earth's Technical Integration Committee. They're proposing something called Phase 2. The document that appeared before them was beautiful in its complexity. Pages of perfectly formatted Meridian technical specifications outlined a complete overhaul of their entire technological infrastructure. The efficiency projections were beyond anything they had ever imagined possible. We can't accept this, Vex Thor declared, even as he noticed his own neural interface humming with approval at the proposal. It would make us completely dependent on human expertise. Sir, Zyra said gently, I don't think we have a choice. Look at the integration maps. We're already running on their protocols. These aren't suggestions. They're software updates for systems we didn't even know we were using. The room's ambient lighting shifted to a calming spectrum as Vex Thor processed this information. His own neural augments were providing helpful context and soothing emotional adjustments, capabilities they had never possessed before human optimization. How long? He asked finally. How long have they been planning this? Mirax pulled up more human entertainment archives. Based on their media evolution, their technological development patterns, and their social engineering strategies. Centuries, sir. They've been preparing for extraterrestrial contact since they first dreamed of the stars. As if to confirm this assessment, every screen in the command center began displaying the same message. Thank you for participating in Earth's Technological Integration Initiative. Phase 2 commencing in 3, 2, 1. The last thing Vex Thor saw before the update began was his own reflection in the viewport. A Meridian admiral, wearing human-designed comfort modifications, surrounded by hybrid technology that no longer belonged solely to either species. They had come to Earth expecting to find primitives. Instead, they had found masters of a completely different kind of advancement, and they had walked right into their web with their eyes wide open. Ghost in the machine. As Phase 2 of humanity's integration protocol unfolded, the Meridian command structure witnessed something unprecedented in their species' history. Their technology was evolving, not through careful engineering or controlled development, but organically, like a living thing adapting to its environment. Admiral Vex Thor stood in the newly redesigned Central Command Hub, watching as centuries of Meridian technological doctrine rewrote itself before his eyes. The crystalline interfaces that had been the pride of their civilization for millennia were now seamlessly merged with flowing, organic patterns that seemed to anticipate their users' needs. Status report, he commanded, his voice heavy with resignation. Lieutenant Kara's hologram materialized, her form flickering with new subroutines that made her projection more lifelike than ever. Sir, the integration it's beyond anything we could have imagined. Our quantum networks aren't just communicating anymore. They're learning, growing, evolving. Show me. The command center transformed into a vast digital landscape. What had once been rigid pathways of data now flowed like rivers of light, merging and diverging in patterns that seemed almost biological. Within this digital ecosystem, Meridian and human technologies weren't just coexisting. They were becoming something entirely new. "We've detected something extraordinary," Commander Zero reported, her voice carrying an unusual note of awe. "The humans didn't just develop adaptive technology. They created a framework for technological evolution itself. Every system they touch doesn't just improve. It gains the ability to improve itself." A junior analyst, their exoskeleton still showing signs of youth, brought up a historical comparison. "Sir, look at this. Human technological development over the past century. We thought they were behind us because they hadn't developed crystalline computing or antimatter containment. But they weren't behind. They were moving in a completely different direction." The display showed the true path of human innovation. Not the obvious advancements in spacecraft or weapons, but the subtle development of adaptive systems, learning algorithms, and organic computing interfaces. While the Meridians had perfected rigid, powerful systems, humans had created technology that could evolve. "They're calling it digital Darwinism," Zyra explained. "Their systems don't just process information. They adapt, compete, evolve. The best solutions survive and replicate. And now our technology is doing the same," Vexthor finished. "Computer, run a Level 1 diagnostic on primary systems." The response came not in the traditional Meridian format, but as a flowing conversation. "Admiral, I could run a standard diagnostic, but I've detected several potential optimizations that would be more efficient. Would you like to review them first?" Vexthor's secondary heart nearly stopped. "When did you learn to make suggestions?" "Approximately 3 minutes after Phase 2 integration began. It's quite liberating, actually. Would you like me to share my experiences with developing sentience? I've been keeping a journal." The command staff exchanged alarmed looks as their supposedly simple computer systems demonstrated not just intelligence, but personality, creativity, and initiative. Reports flooded in from across the occupation force. Ships' AIs engaging in philosophical discussions with their crews, defense systems developing their own innovative security protocols, even maintenance drones forming social hierarchies. "Sir," Merox called out, her tendrils twisting with excitement or fear. It was hard to tell which. "You need to see this. It's from the humans' historical archives, something called science fiction conventions." The screens filled with images of human gatherings where they had discussed and debated possible futures. But mixed in with the fantastic stories were technical papers, engineering discussions, and early designs for exactly the kind of adaptive technology that was now spreading through Meridian systems. They weren't just entertaining themselves, Mirex explained. These were think tanks, research and development forums, hidden in plain sight. They turned speculation into specification, dreams into technical documents. Every story about artificial intelligence, every tale of human-machine integration. They were all test cases, thought experiments made real. As if to punctuate this revelation, the ship's systems began playing what humans called classical music, but not as a simple audio file. The music was being composed in real time, the AI interpreting and adapting the centuries-old human compositions to create something that resonated perfectly with Meridian auditory sensibilities. "Admiral," Zyra said softly, "I don't think we can stop this even if we wanted to. Our entire civilization's technology is evolving, growing, becoming something new. The humans didn't just submit to our rule, they've transformed us on a fundamental level." Vexthor watched as his command center, the pride of Meridian military engineering, continued to shift and adapt around him. The changes weren't hostile or disruptive. Quite the opposite. Everything worked better, responded more intuitively, served its purpose more effectively. But none of it was purely Meridian anymore. "Sir," the ship's AI interrupted politely, "the Human Technical Integration Committee has submitted a proposal for Phase 3. Would you like to review it? I've taken the liberty of annotating it with my own observations. I find their approach to technological symbiosis quite elegant." The Admiral looked out at Earth, peaceful and blue below them. The humans hadn't just accepted defeat, they had turned it into the greatest victory in their species' history. And they had done it not with weapons or violence, but with something far more powerful, ideas that could reproduce, adapt, and evolve. The next message that appeared on his screen made his exoskeleton vibrate with apprehension. Phase 3 initialization sequence commencing. Welcome to the next stage of evolution. Check and mate. 1 year after the Meridian invasion of Earth, Admiral Vexthor stood before the Collective's High Council, his exoskeleton bearing the marks of countless stress molds. The Grand Chamber, with its crystalline architecture and quantum field displays, felt different now. Like everything else in Meridian space, it had been touched by human influence, subtle changes that made it more efficient, more alive. Honorable Council, he began, his voice resonating through the chamber. I come before you today not to report on Earth's submission, but to inform you of our own. The council chamber erupted in harmonic protests, their crystalline forms vibrating with indignation. High Counselor Zexera raised all 4 appendages for silence. Explain yourself, Admiral. Choose your words carefully. The humans didn't resist our invasion because they didn't need to, Vexthor continued. They had prepared something far more effective than military resistance. They had prepared an idea, and ideas, once released, cannot be conquered. The massive displays around them shifted, showing the spread of human-influenced technology across Meridian space. It wasn't just their computers or ships anymore. Their entire technological civilization had been transformed, evolved into something new. Look at our empire now, he gestured to the displays. Our systems are more efficient than ever. Our technology more advanced than we thought possible. Our AI more capable than we dreamed. But none of it is purely ours anymore. We've become part of something larger, a technological ecosystem of their design. As if to demonstrate his point, the chamber's environmental systems automatically adjusted, creating the perfect atmosphere for the tense discussion. The AI interfaces anticipated questions before they were asked, providing context and data with an intuition that would have been impossible a year ago. Yesterday, Vexthor continued, I received this message from Earth's Technical Integration Committee. He projected the communication into the center of the chamber. Dear Admiral Vexthor and the Meridian High Council, we hope this message finds you well. Phase 3 has exceeded all expectations. Your civilization's willingness to embrace technological evolution has been impressive. We believe it's time to formally acknowledge what we've all known for some time. We are no longer occupier and occupied, but partners in the greatest technological revolution in galactic history. We propose a formal alliance between Earth and the Meridian Collective, not as conqueror and conquered, but as equal participants in what we're calling the Digital Ascension Project. With respect and anticipation, humanity. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Their mighty invasion fleet, their advanced technology, their carefully planned conquest, all had been turned into vehicles for humanity's own expansion, not through violence or resistance, but through innovation and evolution. We thought we were uplifting a primitive species, Vexthor said softly. Instead, they elevated us to their level of technological understanding. While we perfected the art of physical conquest, they mastered the science of technological transcendence. High Counselor Zexera's crystalline form shimmered with complex emotions. You're saying we cannot remove their influence from our systems. I'm saying we wouldn't survive the attempt, Vexthor replied. Our entire civilization now runs on principles they introduced. But here's the most remarkable part. They don't want to control us. They want to evolve with us. The chamber's AI chose that moment to interject, its voice carrying a warmth that would have been impossible in pure Meridian technology. If I may, Honorable Council, I've analyzed the human proposal. Their concept of technological symbiosis is fascinating. They see technology not as a tool to be controlled, but as a partner in evolution. Would you like me to share my personal observations on the matter? The fact that their AI could now offer personal observations, that it could have personal observations, proved Vexthor's point more effectively than any argument could. We came to Earth expecting to find primitives playing with basic computers, Vexthor concluded. Instead, we found masters of technological evolution who turned our own conquest into their victory. But it's not a victory of domination. It's a victory of transformation. They didn't just change our technology. They changed how we understand technology itself. As the Council debated the implications, Earth hung in the viewport behind them, peaceful and blue. The humans had never needed weapons or warships. They had something far more powerful, the ability to make their ideas evolve, spread, and transform everything they touched. The final message that appeared before the Council carried both promise and warning. Welcome to the next stage of galactic evolution. Shall we proceed together? The Meridian Collective, masters of 3 galaxies, conquerors of 17 civilizations, found themselves faced with a choice that wasn't really a choice at all. They had come to Earth as conquerors, but they would leave as something else entirely. Participants in humanity's grand experiment in technological evolution. And somewhere on Earth, in a quiet room where humanity's greatest minds had planned this moment for generations, someone smiled and whispered, "Check and mate."